What we have here is a 5 gigabit adapter sent over for review from a company called Minthouz. And also we have an iPhone. Back in September, Apple announced that the latest Pro iteration of the iPhone can now shoot ProRes RAW, which, let's be completely honest, is kind of overkill. But for this demo, I thought it would be pretty cool to see if we can use an adapter like this one from Minthouz to edit over the network. Let's cut to the chase. Before I start, let's pop over to the computer and take a look at Speedtest performance. I'm on Bell Fiber to the Home, and this is a 10 gigabit Ethernet connection connected to a Unifi cloud gateway fiber. It's going through one of those NICGIGA switches.
That's the N word.
Coming out of the switch, we have this Ethernet cable, and this network is a 10 gig network. We're gonna plug you into the 5 gigabit Minthouz USB-C adapter. So we've got that in there. And while we wait for it to establish a connection, let's just go into our network settings. Oh, it already connected. So we've got it up here. It's the only network interface that's connected, because if you look over here, you'll notice Wi-Fi is disabled. So let's go ahead and open Ookla Speedtest. Right, Bell Canada, this is an 8 gigabit internet plan, and I'm getting 0 milliseconds of latency, which is very awesome. Shout out fiber. And we're getting 4.7, just over 4.7 on the download and just over 4.7 on the upload. And if you're wondering why it's not 5,000, I'm just gonna do this really quick. We know that Gigabit typically caps at about 940 megabit. There's like 60 megabit for like overhead. If I multiply that by 5, it seems to scale linearly, which is awesome. We're getting 4,700. That seems to be working. Pricing for this is actually fairly competitive. At the time of filming this, the regular price for the Minthouz adapter is $42.99 in US dollars, but it's currently on sale for $39.99. A competitor to this, the 10 gigabit USB-C Ethernet adapter from Unifi, which at the time of recording is $169 US dollars. So okay, the Minthouz is, sure, it's half of its performance, but it is way, way less than half the price. At the sale price for the Minthouz, you could buy 4 of these adapters for the price of one of the Unifi adapters. That's pretty sick. Build quality is pretty good, especially at this price point. So you get a short PVC cable for the USB-C connection, an aluminum enclosure which is actually fingerprint resistant, which is very nice, and obviously you have the logo on the top. The aluminum housing will also help keep the adapter cool and operational. On both the USB-C end and the Ethernet ends, there's vent holes to also assist in the heat dissipation. Look, just for sanity testing, let's just run that speed test one more time, just to make sure that we're getting like good reading off this. Yeah, still 0 millisecond ping, still getting 4.7. Yeah, this is awesome. So I am very confident so far in this adapter. Now, you saw an iPhone at the beginning of this video, but this particular iPhone can't shoot ProRes RAW. It's a 16 Pro Max. I actually do shoot in ProRes RAW, 5.9K ProRes RAW, but I use an Atomos Shogun Ultra. This is going to be a much higher bitrate file, which is also going to result in a higher data rate required to edit the file over the network versus the iPhone 17 Pro and Pro Max, which shoots ProRes RAW in 4K, not 5.9 or 6K like my Atomos monitor does. I got Final Cut Pro open here. We're actually going to go up to settings. Let's go to our playback tab and turn off background render, because ProRes and ProRes RAW, they run better just in general. They don't really need to render as often. In some cases you're going to need to, but for this test we don't need it. Also, it's going to keep our library file size very low. Let's go to import. Currently, it's set to copy to library storage location. I'm going to switch this to leave files in place, because we don't want to copy over the network. We don't want to like basically chug the machine. It's going to try to copy all the media into the library, but we don't need to do that because we have the media on a different computer on the network. So let's close this out, and we're going to make a new library. So let's do that. We're just going to call you Minthouz Test. We are going to make a new project and just call it Minthouz Network Stress Test. Let's go back into our ProRes RAW folder, which is on the shared drives, and we're just going to drag these in. Now, when you work with iPhone log footage or ProRes footage in general, or sorry, ProRes RAW footage in general from the iPhone, this process is going to look a little different, but we're not really checking all that. What we're actually doing is we're just doing a network speed test in terms of like how usable is this. So I'm going to select both of these clips and it's trying to apply automatically a Panasonic Vlog LUT. I'm just going to turn that off because Final Cut's implementation is not great for that. We're going to take this clip and we're going to drop you down. Now remember I said that the Shogun Ultra and my S5 II shoots in 5.9K, 6K ProRes RAW. This is not a standard resolution. Like if you look in the top left here, it's 5888 by 3312. But we're just going to bring it in as it is. We're going to say it's custom and drop you in. And look at this. Turn my volume down, right? It scrubs with absolutely no problem whatsoever. Let's delete that and we'll take this other clip, do the same thing. And again, it scrolls with absolutely no problem. By the way, this video is about Prompter XL. That video is coming out very soon. It's kind of spicy. So if you're not already subscribed, get subscribed and you'll get to see that video as soon as it drops. But anyway, let's do something different here. So first I'm going to click back here. We're going to select these we're going to select the first clip. We're going to open the clip and I'm going to apply I have it here somewhere, a custom LUT, right? And we'll just put you on. This is just a generic, what is it? A base LUT's Vlog LUT. And let's do the same for this one. We're going to open that. We're going to add our custom LUT. Okay, cool. So it looks more usable. Okay, so now that we have these done, select them both. This is the stress test part. We're going to go new multicam clip. And I'm going to change these settings because for some reason Final Cut acts really funny when it's not a standard resolution. I'm actually going to make them 4K. I'm going to make my frame rate 2997 because that's what I shoot. I'm going to leave the rest as is. And I'm not going to sync any audio or hide clips. And we're just going to say, okay, so it's an untitled multicam clip. Now, if I double click on it, Final Cut is so stupid. I don't know why it doesn't figure out that it's two separate clips. So we're just going to manually put this one here and put this one here. Okay, this is just to show something a little interesting. Now, if I take this multicam and I drop you on the timeline, you notice that one, we're in 4K 29.97. But also, if I cut, it switches between. And we're not having any issues whatsoever doing this. Now, if I open the multicam editor and you look right up here, you can see both angles. And look at this. It scrubs with absolutely no problem. Again, this is all going through the network. That is very impressive. So yeah, you can fully edit ProRes RAW over the network with no latency. This feels like it's on the internal hard drive. This is kind of insane. Obviously, the storage that the ProRes RAW clips is on is going to make a huge difference. And if I didn't say this before, that 10 gig USB-C port that's on the iPhone 17 Pro and 17 Pro Max will come in clutch when you need to transfer the footage, because if I didn't point this out already, this clip is a total of 19 minutes and 11 seconds, but it comes in at 201 gigabytes. Holy crap, ProRes RAW is super overkill. I've been editing for about 45 minutes, and I'm just gonna take this Amazon temperature gun that I got and just check the surface temperature of the casing. And yeah, we're hovering just over, what, 27 degrees Celsius? That is very, very reasonable. Here's the thing. This adapter at this price point is pretty disruptive, okay? Let's go to the computer again. So I'm gonna take the speed test result we got, which we'll say 4,700. It was a little bit over, but we'll say 4,700. I'm gonna divide that by 8, and that gives us 587.5. That is the conversion to megabytes a second. You know that typical SATA hard drives, or sorry, SATA solid state drives, they typically cap out around 550 megabytes a second. So you could saturate the entire speed of that drive through your network. That is pretty cool. And for the price, again, you have to buy 4 of these at its sale price for it to equate to one 10 gigabit adapter from Unifi. And I don't know if I mentioned this, but I've got this thing. Let me unplug it here. This is a older style Thunderbolt 3 to Ethernet adapter. The thing with this one, Number one, it doesn't work in any USB-C port. It only works in Thunderbolt. So there's that. Number two, this thing needed active cooling. It is a few years old. The technology has since matured since then. But also, this thing was pretty damn expensive, and I'm pretty sure that the newer ones are still up there. It kind of makes you think about the price of networking overall, because 10 gig networking, like at least the router side, it's come down in price. Look at the Cloud Gateway Fiber from Unifi. That is kind of a disruptive device. That's what I'm actually running. I did a whole video on this if you didn't know. It was a Bell Fiber to the Home, bypassing it with an SFP, do it your own risk. But anyway, I did that bypass and I used the Cloud Gateway Fiber. And at its price point, and then the ability to, like, you know, modularly, is that the word? You could basically plug in your own access point, like in terms of like you can choose the type or the class of access point that you want, plug it in. Amazing. So getting a Cloud Gateway Fiber and wiring 10 gigabit through your entire house isn't as expensive as it used to be. So if you do have 10 gig or 5 gig through your house, these adapters are super compelling. If you work somewhere where you have hardwired Ethernet access and you have access to a 10 gig network, it's way more cost effective to pick up something like this. And the fact that I was able to edit dual, not one, dual 6K, or sorry, 5.9K, not 4K, 5.9K, and the thing barely sweat at all, and I was able to edit for just under an hour without it overheating by any means. Highly, highly recommend the Minthouz adapter. So I gotta send a massive shout out to Minthouz for sending this over. This thing is actually pretty awesome. You better believe that I'm going to be using this a lot when I'm not in my computer room, if I'm editing somewhere else in the house, or if I'm out and about and I have access to hardwired Ethernet, I will be using this thing. It is pretty awesome. I'm gonna have affiliate links in the description. If you use those links, it helps out the channel. Here come the call to actions that I absolutely hate doing, but if you got value, or if this was entertaining for some reason, if you got any kind of value out of this video, feel free to like it, hit subscribe, hit the bell notification to get notified when I post future videos, like the Elgato prompter video, which if it's not already up, it's going to be up extremely soon. But in the meantime, my name is Sean, and this has been Tech Mixer, and I'm out. Peace.